signature. Welcome to
Signature
Silhouette's
sign
JV
on.
podcast. Yes. So wait, David, what's your full
My name is David Ben David. No, it is David Ben Ari.
name? Yes, well, it's a beautiful last name. And
Oh,
I
well,
think
thank
I
you.
think I would know that by now, right? We've done like 40 episodes together.
You know what? I
Yes,
wouldn't blame you. You know, who knows last names anymore?
it's true. That's very true. Yes.
Who knows last names anymore? Everyone knows Instagram handles.
I mean, well, so ours would be Jersey Boys Love 1963, right? Obviously.
1963,
Of
exactly.
course. So because this is Silhouette's JV podcast, and I am Giga Doxy, and we are the deepest dive into Jersey Boys one can ever take, both the Broadway show and a Tony Award winning musical, of course, and the movie directed by Clint Eastwood. And today we have a dream interview with one of the people I admire so much in the world. Today we have Renée Marino in where, David?
In the Zoom
Yes, we
studio.
do. And of course, we have our wonderful intro that we always want to give our guests to make them feel as welcome as possible and to give you more background on this Jersey Boys legend. So, David, take it away.
Listen, the world is truly your oyster, right? And timing is everything. So we got Renée Marino in the Zoom studio tonight. She took life by the cogliones and she said, I want to be a performer. And she did it, right? She's been on Broadway in Jersey Boys as Mary Delgado and took the rest of the US by the balls when she toured the country in Jersey Boys as Mary Delgado, as well as countless other credits, such as the Broadway productions of Pretty Woman, which Gia and David, me, us, both saw, Chaplin, Wonderland, and West Side Story, as well as swinging in the 25th anniversary tour of Cats. And she toured the country as a featured performer and understudy of Sharpay Evans in the national tour of High School Musical, the musical, one of Gia's all-time favorite Disney movies and
Yes.
shows. And Drew Seeley, you know,
Mwah, love you. Yes.
love you.
Closing
And
cast, Broadway, whole
exactly.
thing. Yes.
She's done a slew of regional theater and even performed her own solo cabaret show and starred in the movie adaptation of the show that brings all of us here together today, Jersey Boys, as Mary Delgado. She did it.
She did it. And over the last year and a half, maybe the time might be a little bit more, she pulled off a hashtag pandemic pivot, which all of us have had to do, into being a communication coach. And she even co-hosted the World Summit last year alongside leaders of the industry with Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and Jenna Kutcher, to name a few. She was handpicked by Tony Robbins as the winner of his comeback challenge. And she won a trip to his private resort in Fiji. Amazing. And along with all of that, she also has a book coming out. Okay, she has a book. If you follow her Instagram, you see how hard she works on this book. And it's called Becoming a Master Communicator, which she is going to tell us all about. And along with all of that, there's so much more. It's going to hit bookstores near you and online everywhere at the end of the year. She is a private and group coach, and she will help take your communication skills to the next level. We all can definitely use some tweaking in that area, I think. And we cannot wait to talk about the movie and her new career and everything. So please welcome Renée Marino, and please welcome our co-host for the evening, a fellow producer, Howard Tucker.
Thank you so much.
Hi, all.
Shalom, shalom.
Hello.
Hey, shalom.
Yes. Shabbat shalom. Good things, good things. And
Yes.
yes. Well,
It's
of course,
so great. So great to be here with you all. Thank you for this. This is going to be fun.
Thank you.
We're
cannot
so
wait.
excited to have you. We're so
Yes.
excited to have you here.
Well, there's so much to go over, Renée, because you are so accomplished, but you are one of the kindest people in any industry, honestly. And everyone we talk to at Katie O'Toole, who is one of your best friends, Sarah Schmidt,
Yes.
everyone looks up to you so much. And so do I, honestly, since 2014. I actually had the honor of, for everyone who knows, I had the honor of meeting Renée a few years ago after Pretty Woman. She was the dance captain. She's amazing because I feel like I would love to have a similar path, career path as you, because I started as a dancer as well. I still am. And I'm actually a motivational speaker right now for middle schoolers and high schoolers. Yeah, across all 5 boroughs.
I
great.
love that.
Yes, it's great. I would love to really hear what you have to say and kind of fine tune all those skills, because that's what you're an expert at doing, which is incredible. And so, and Howard has a lot of stories, of course, with you from the past, because Howard Tucker, of course, he is our man. He wrote for the Jersey Boys blog, and he has all the experiences from Jersey Boys from 2004 until now, which David and I just haven't had because we haven't moved to New York until a few years ago. So, Howard, please begin and say whatever you would like to say about
Well,
our
thank
amazing guest.
you. Thank you, Renee. Great to see you. And you know something, I can't pinpoint when you and I first met. Usually I can with people, but I know that I saw you in Jersey Boys. And I also remember very clearly when we first really talked, I think at Miles Aubrey's concert back in 2013.
Yes.
And that's where we met Mike, and it was right outside the theater. You recognized me before I recognized you. And it was funny, there were two people that did. You did, and Nate Sherrick did. Everybody else sort of made a clean getaway. But it really was great. And thank you. You've been so gracious over the years. And of course, the big story, of course, is when you and John Lloyd Young, and you didn't really give me a clear answer on this. You and John Lloyd Young at that brunch back right before the pandemic, I think it was in January 2020. And you
Yeah.
both walked in together to a lot of applause. And then JLY pointed at me, looked at you. You know, Howard, we were just talking about you. And neither you nor John will tell me what you talked about. You know, well, you know.
Howard, I don't remember. I'm telling you, you have my dream memory because you remember details and times and dates. And I remember walking into the room with JLY, but I have no idea what we said. It was obviously love.
Now, I do want to give you Gary Newberg's regards. And
Aw.
we spoke for a while, and yeah, we talked about you today. And I do remember what we said, unlike you,
You-
JLY.
You do? Well, now I want to know. You can't leave me hanging.
And you grew up in the Linden, New Jersey area. And I
Yes.
grew up in Clifton, but after my mother passed away when I was 17, my father sold the house and we moved to Elizabeth, which
Neighbors.
yes,
Yeah.
which was neighbors. And I had a client in Linden on Style Street, and we used to go to Big Stash's restaurant, which you recognized yesterday.
Oh, yes. The pierogies. I always got
No,
pierogies there.
Yes.
Pierogies.
I can't remember really exactly what I want. Let me give you a couple other things in common. You went to Wagner College in Staten Island, where I live.
Yes.
And
Yes.
our friend Charlie Romo also went to Wagner College. And
Yes.
Charlie is a huge fan of yours. In fact, we saw him last week, and I'm going to see him on Thursday night singing. So
Wow. Tell
anyway,
him I said hello and thank you.
oh, I already did from last night. We
Oh,
already
perfect.
talked about you today. Not a lot of grass grows under my feet here. And I want to hear about Miss Union County too. Because I'm just going to add that one of my friend's granddaughters is in the Miss America program. And, you know, my girlfriend and I attended the Miss Staten Island pageant before the
Mhm.
pandemic. And I understand she entered this year again and was third runner up. So,
Wow.
so talk to me a little bit. Tell me about Miss Union County.
Wow. Howard is bringing it back. Miss Union County, that was 2002. I was a junior in college. I was a junior at Wagner. And yeah, I had done pageants when I was like young, really just so I could be in the dance portion and dance for my talent. But I decided to join the pageant in 2002 because I was like, this will be fun. Like, this will be great. You know, it's just a great outlet. And I ended up winning, which was amazing. And I remember I sang In His Eyes from Jekyll and Hyde for my talent.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Great. Okay.
And then I ended up playing the role of Lucy Harris my senior year at Wagner. So I got to sing it, which was awesome.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went to the actual Miss New Jersey pageant in Atlantic City, and it was incredible. Like, I had the best time with the girls. I ended up winning Miss Congeniality.
Woo!
And I ended up,
wow, that's
Yeah.
terrific.
and I ended up winning the academic award, which was I was really proud of for my academic excellence in school. So it
Nice.
was a really, really incredible experience. So happy that I did it. You know, there's so much stigma attached to pageants. And just like anything else, you guys, it's the person. You could, it's the person that you put into the environment, how they're going to react. It's not always, this is how it is, pageants or this and that. It's like, no. Put the person in that environment and see how they react. So for me, it was super positive. I had a great time. And that was, yes, my junior year of college.
One other comment, and then I'll let my buddies take over here. The movie premiere, you and I took a beautiful, or I thought it was a beautiful picture together. And you remember when we posted it and Steve W posted, so Renee, this is what you left Frankie for, or who you left Frankie for. And it got a few laughs.
Yes.
And, all right. So great to see you again. And yes,
you too, Howard.
Great movie premiere as well. And it was good to see you. You were really Miss Congeniality there, although I did sit right in front of Candice Bergen, who was runner-up in Miss Congeniality. Very, very nice.
Wow. It's all full circle.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I have a follow-up right away with, so when you were saying how like put the person in the environment, I feel like you are definitely that person who never changes themselves when you walk into a room to kind of adapt and make people comfortable. Like you walk in with your positive energy and you let everybody else gravitate toward you, and then they end up becoming happier in the process. So like, were you? It's true, and that's how everyone. Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a really rough day, but I was like, we're talking to Renee. Like this is a dream, and she's gonna make everyone just feel wonderful. It's true, and that's something we all try to achieve. But was there ever a time, especially when you're going into auditions, where you feel like you have to not change yourself, but find certain adaptations to make people feel comfortable? How do you find the balance between doing those things?
That's a great question, Gia. And first and foremost, I believe that what is most important in life is always staying true to yourself all the time. It doesn't matter where you are, who you're with, you are who you are. And I think it's so important to stay true to that person, because especially in the business of performing, it's so easy to think, oh my goodness, they're looking for someone who has blonde hair. Let me dye my hair. Oh, I need to be 20 pounds lighter. Let me lose 20 pounds. Oh, they need 20 pounds heavier. Let me gain some weight. It's like, it can be such a slippery slope. So if you don't have a strong grasp and hold on who you truly are authentically from your spirit, that's where problems arise. And to answer your question, the first step is knowing who you are and just vowing to bring that person wherever you go. And when you walk into an audition room, sure, sometimes, it's a different character than you would play. Like if I'm going in for a role that's the complete opposite of Mary Delgado, sure, it could be tempting to think, okay, I have to go in and I'm playing the ingenue, so I'm going to walk in really ingenue-esque. But the people behind the table want to see the real you.
Right.
And the best actors in the world, let's just use acting, are the ones who bring themselves to the role. It's not the ones that you're just watching act. Those are the ones that we often say like, oh, that was kind of miscast. But if you know how to bring yourself to the role, well, that's golden. And if that's not what the people behind the table are looking for, then so be it. But I can assure you that they're going to remember you and they're going to think of you maybe for another project or for something else.
Right, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
So true. Yes. And from personal experience too, like that's it. And you might bring something brand new to that character that the writers might even think of because they're still in development too.
100%.
Yeah. Have you found that happened to you in the past? Like, but not even just with an audition, but with anyone you've talked to or anyone that you were looking to work with?
Well, it's funny, like I've had such a, I've been so blessed to be in rooms with incredible people of all walks of life, right? Like from performers, directors, producers, now in my field, like knowledge experts. And even when I hosted the World Summit, right? People are like, oh my God, you're going to meet Tony Robbins, right? And you're going to be on stage with Dean Graziosi. And it's like, yeah, it's amazing. But I'm the same person.
Right.
And when I went to California, I'll never forget this. When I went to go do the film, it was my first film, never did anything besides musical theater. And a few people were like, don't let LA change you, like joking. And I'm like,
Right.
are you kidding me? Do you know who I am? Like,
Right.
I might change LA.
Exactly.
I might change LA, but LA is not going to change me, because my parents instilled in me a lot of wonderful morals. And as you know, from my one woman show, one of those is to always stay true to yourself. And I think it's just such an important lesson for everyone, no matter who you are and what you do in life, because at the end of the day, we are in this digitally saturated culture where people put filters on everything, and they put up their highlight reels where they show their best pictures and their best moments, which makes other people go into comparison mode, which makes you feel bad about yourself. And then you think that you have to like put on a show, and it becomes very easy to lose a sense of who you are. So for me, that's like first and foremost. And I say this all the time, but nothing impresses me more than a truly genuine human being.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Can I make two comments here, Renee? And one of
Yes.
them might rebut a little bit of what you said, but two interviews. Mayim Bialik, right as she was guest hosting Jeopardy, gave a little bit of an interview on when she got Beaches. And that was, 30 years ago, maybe, when she played the young Bette Midler character.
Yes.
CC, I'm not going to remember Bette Midler character's name, but she did say that she came in pretty much as herself, and a lot of others came in with dyed red hair and what have you. Now she got the role. Now the opposite one is when Valerie Harper auditioned for Rhoda Morgenstern on Mary Tyler Moore. Again, you guys may be a little young for this, but on her first audition, people were saying, no, Valerie, you're really much too beautiful for that role. And then she came in for a second interview with a frumpy overcoat, hair all over, and that's how she got the role. So I don't know if you want to comment on that.
It actually goes right along with my point, because that was her second audition. So they already got a sense of who she was. Okay. They could tell who she was, right? And they could tell like she has the chops for this. But physically, if we could see you a little more kind of rugged, then that pops. But still at the forefront, they had to know who she was, and if she was even capable on the acting side to handle that, right? So perfect example. I was doing Danny in the Deep Blue Sea, played the role of Roberta. One of the craziest, most intense roles I've ever played. And my director, so my friend Jay Bailey and I, we put this on. Like, we had the idea for it. We got it produced. We hired a director, and my director was like, I same thing. Like he saw me do the scenes. He's like, you're so good. You're so great, but you're almost too pretty for this. And I was like, well, just give me let me do it. Just watch, and as time went on, we changed things here and there physically, but at the forefront, me coming in as myself, he knew that I could play this role. So I still think it always goes back to ground level. Be yourself, be confident in that person. And even if it doesn't make you fit the bill of that role, trust me, when someone, I know this from being assistant to the choreographer, Jerry Mitchell, when I did Pretty Woman, and I had the honor of sitting behind the table and watching people come in and audition. And you know it from a second when someone walks in a room, when they're putting it on and when they are authentic and genuinely themselves. And there is such a clear shift. And to me, nothing is better when that person walks in and they're like, this is who I am. This is what I do. Take it or leave it, but I'm going to show you what I got. Right?
If you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself.
That's right. If you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, David actually has a question. Just with figuring out like how did you make this transition? What made you want to become a communication coach?
Was not a pandemic pivot. It was actually a before the pandemic pivot.
Okay.
I had Pretty Woman closed August of 2019. And at that time I decided I wanted to do my one woman show in New York City. I had only done it in LA. So I did that in September, and I had started writing my book while doing Pretty Woman. So I would be on stage, and then the amazing crew would let me use their office, and I would be in my 5-inch hooker heels and a wig and costume and 5 pounds of makeup and writing my book in between scenes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when the book started. So I knew that I was ready for like a chapter change in my life. And I knew that there was like another calling. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew that it had to do with communication, because I've always been obsessed with good communication. I come from an Italian-American family.
Yep.
We all sit around the table, right? Salud.
Yep.
We
Yep.
eat, we drink, we argue, we laugh, but nonetheless, we connect through our communication. So I knew that I wanted to do something. I didn't know exactly what. And then I saw a advertisement by Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, and they were having this course called the Knowledge Broker Blueprint. And my husband and I were on vacation in Mexico, and we set the time in our calendar to go back to our room the final night to watch this video where they talked about the course. And I kept saying to my husband, like, I want to start my own business, but I don't freaking know. Like, I've been a professional actress my whole life. Like, I don't know how to start a business. I just need the structure. And this course is what gave me that structure. I did it. I'm a great student. Like, I love learning. And every day for like 6 weeks, I got up, did the lessons, did the homework, implemented, and I became a coach. And it just happened to be right when the shutdown happened. So most people think it's like, oh, you did this because, you know, everything shut down. I said, no, actually it was before. Like I made the decision before, and I just did it. I jumped head first, full out. And as I teach my clients, you know, I think the lesson in that is that imperfect action is the way to go.
Yeah.
We often hold ourselves back, and we think like we have to have everything figured out before we make a move, and everything has to be perfect and in alignment before we take a step. And it's like, no, take the step, right? And then the confidence gets built through showing yourself that you can act in spite of fear. You can do before you're ready. And I'm still learning every day. Oh my God, there's so much to learn. There's so much to grasp. It's like, some days I'm like, I can't even believe I'm doing this. Like, I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation. I've never done this in my life.
Wow.
Like crazy things.
But does that ever
get the clicker.
does that ever become so overwhelming? You know,
Yes.
like how do you deal with that, and how do you what do you tell your clients and how to deal with that overwhelming sensation and fear?
And let me tell you something, everyone goes through it. And that's what I tell my clients all the time. I teach this course called Connecting on Camera, and it's all about how to help individuals just bring their real selves to the video, whether it's for Zoom meetings, whether it's for their businesses, whatever the case is. We all must learn this skill of being able to communicate through the camera. And the first part of, I teach like it's my 5 power P's, and the first power P is push past what's holding you back. And what I tell them all the time is that 4 words are some of the most powerful words that the human spirit can hear. You are not alone. And when we're feeling overwhelmed and when we're feeling scared, we often feel like we're the only one. It's just me. Everyone else has it figured out but me. And the truth is, we all go through the overwhelm. We all go through the struggle, the days where you're like, I'm done. I'm quitting. This is not for me. But you pick yourself back up when you understand that it's part of it. It's part of the process. And especially as an entrepreneur, oh my goodness, every day, like I'm in this great accountability group, and we had this like meme going around where it's like life of an entrepreneur. And it's like, oh my God, life is so great. What am I doing with my life? Oh my God, I feel so good today. I don't know what the hell I got into this for. And it's like this constant roller coaster. So when you're aware that you're not alone, number one, and number two, that you've done harder things in your life than what you're doing at the moment, it helps you to push through those hard points.
Yes, amen. Because I have this. So I have a few things on my wall. Oh, Howard, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, if I can, Renee, I just want to ask you a couple of quick things about communication itself. And I don't know if this is a non sequitur here, but a number of years ago, I went to a Dale Carnegie course, and I learned like 4 things. First of all, It was at a CPA meeting, and the gentleman was standing alone. Now, I really wanted to go up and say, I'm Howard Tucker, and I never failed after this, but he went to the stage and he was the host, and he said, shame on all of you. You never came up and introduced yourself to me. Now, another thing, and this is what I gleaned. I mean, it went on for maybe an hour, but one of them was say thank you to people. That's the worst thing you can do, and not say thank you. Another one was don't interrupt people. The third one is, and this is funny, and David and Gia have heard this before, look for free information from people if you really want to start a conversation. And the example that they gave, and you guys have heard this a number of times, if you see someone that's left-handed, you go up to them, oh, I see you're left-handed. What challenges does that present you in everyday life? And the funny story on this, and I don't know if you know Catherine Sandeman, she's a very big Jersey Boys fan. Anyhow, one night I can't remember, I think it was after Next to Normal. We all went to juniors, and her daughter was left-handed. And I really figured I would start a conversation. And her name was Samantha. And I said, so Sam, the same thing. You're left-handed. What challenges does that present? And then she went on for about a half hour. Well, I can't use the scissors well. I'm awkward at the batting cage, and the right-handed desks are difficult. So just a few comments that I know on communication. And never.
Well, I would love to show you this because I feel like you would appreciate it. I have a few like just different, very low budget reminders that I put on my wall just like last year during the pandemic.
Bro.
And yeah, no, but it's good, you know. But one of the main things that I had, which you said, was, you know, if you did something once, you can do it again and even better. So thank you for bringing up the fact that you have to just start. Like there is so much truth in that people don't, and that's what makes people want to actually work with you, because especially in the corporate world or wherever, everyone just feels like a robot. It's like, no, like tell me like what pisses you off, what's one thing that happened to you that you never wanted anybody else to do with. Like I love those kinds of questions. Usually one of the hardest things to do, whether you're writing, speaking, it's learning how to trim the fat and really edit it down. So do you also teach people how to find the key information and of course have details, but finding the right ones?
So first of all, when speaking on camera, let's just use that. Mm-hmm. The biggest, one of the biggest issues that people face is they're like, I don't know what to talk about. And then they write a paragraph word for word, and then they think they're going to memorize that and go on camera and say it all. And what I teach is that our brain, especially when the camera goes on and we're feeling that energy, it's easy to forget. And we need something that's just going to trigger our brain quickly. So bullet points are so powerful. Bullet points and a Post-it, and you put that bad boy next to the lens right under it. That way it's one or two words that trigger you to say, oh my goodness. And I was going to talk about chocolate ice cream. Most people have attention spans that are like yay big.
Exactly.
Because
on the Fritz. Yes.
We are accustomed to getting our information quick. We're looking at our cell phones. We have a million tabs open. People are like task switching. So if you're going to speak and tell a story, it's so important to trim that fat and know what are the points I need to get to. What is the point of me even sharing this? And simpler, the better, right? It's always way simpler than we think. Simpler, the better. The shorter, the better.
Well, thank you for your 3-minute tip. I think that's wonderful. And I totally agree. It really does depend on the medium. And I think what's great now is that, you know, because with podcasting, right, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry now, this year, at least that was what it was projected from last year. And people are craving that long form content, but there still has to be structure. And David and I, honestly, we go through a fine-tooth comb, making sure that everything is still digestible and you enjoy listening to it. So there's that. But then you also have TikTok, the Rizzle app, and it's good to be able to edit and put things together. So I really appreciate the fact that you do both, because when you're in your coaching session, you have to explain and elaborate, but you have to give something that like keeps people on their like wanting for you to come back too. So that's wonderful. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yay!
I think Howard has.
Oh yeah, Howard.
I just want to.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. No. Believe me. No, I just want to make two comments, Renee, of things that I picked up. Keith Ferrazzi, who wrote Never Eat Alone and Who's Got Your Back. Pretty famous communicator. And, I had hooked up with him years ago when I was traveling in Red Fast Company and we emailed back and forth. Two things I learned from him. And I think now the Zoom calls have replaced the company-wide conference calls. Well, one thing that I learned is that someone, in fact, our president would give a call to hundreds of people. Okay, I'm allowing 10 minutes for questions and answers. Any questions? And total silence. Now, what I learned from Keith is that if you can ask an intelligent question to start out with, you become a little bit of a celebrity. And not only did that help me, but it came, and we went through 7 presidents while I was at Bank of America. So, but what they really appreciated what I did. And then they would sometimes go through me or my boss and say, could Howard ask a question? And then I would ask, how would you like to start out? Is there a question you'd like me to direct? And that was really good.
The ability to ask a question in a clear and concise way is also really important.
Yes.
You can't forget about that. Like I'm actually putting on a summit for my book, and it's called the Becoming a Master Communicator Summit, and I'm interviewing. And I had my first interview last week and it was amazing, but I learned so much because being able to ask the question in a concise yet clear way is difficult.
Very.
Because we all want to explain ourselves, right? We want to explain. And sometimes that can make the person on the other end actually more confused.
Yep.
So to learn how to figure out the meat of the question and how you're going to ask it and deliver it in a really clear way is a really powerful skill.
Yes, it's an art.
And so, obviously, this is a Jersey Boys podcast. You played Mary Delgado. Is that correct?
100%.
100%. You played Mary Delgado on Broadway. You played Mary Delgado on tour. Well, you did the tour first. You were the Universal Swing, and then you did the tour as Mary, and then you did Broadway, right?
Yes.
As Broadway.
Yep. So
Mary.
I was Universal Swing for 6 months, 1 year on the road, the national tour as Mary, and then Broadway Mary.
And then the movie.
Yes.
So, being a communication coach, obviously there were a lot of communication problems between Frankie and Mary. And, I was talking about this with Gia today. Tommy calls Mary type A, real easy, jump right into bed with you and then, bust your balls. So,
Yeah.
but type A, they go out and they get what they want. But I mean, for all the lack of talking that they did, do you think Mary got what she wanted in the end? And how do you think, as a communicator, looking back on your time in the show and in the movie, how could things maybe have turned up differently?
Oh, such a good question. I love that. The answer is absolutely not. She did not get what she wanted in the end, because in the end, I believe that she wanted the happy marriage. She wanted to have her family together. She wanted to love herself more, right? And I always say communication, the most important communication, number one, starts first with yourself. And think about it. Mary was drinking. Mm-hmm. Mary wasn't communicating with herself. She was masking, which so many people do, right? Drinking, eating, gambling. So she wasn't in that honest communication with herself first. And then she was in such anger, right? It was so much of their fights were coming from ego, which is not coming from your real self, which is not authentically communicating. So the two of them were not master communicators, if you will. Mary was, she was so good at like poking at Frankie where it hurt. And Frankie was so good at being like, like pushing her away. And that doesn't make for a strong conversation, right? Even in their breakup scene, it's like, boy, she goes for the jugular, she knows how to get him. And that is not healthy communication. That is coming from a place of pure anger, pure tit for tat, instead of if just say they were Mary and Frankie were sitting down to a healthy conversation, a healthy marital disagreement. They would sit, and first and foremost, they would both be listening to hear and not to reply. And that's what, I mean, just look at our world right now. Nobody's listening to each other. Everyone's listening to just win the argument. So to answer your question, it would be extremely different of an outcome if they actually communicated. But also at the end of the day, I think what's meant to be happened, right? I'm such a firm believer, what's meant for you will not miss you. If they were meant to stay together, they would have. But whether they stayed together or not, I don't think is the important part of this question. I think it's, could they have coexisted better? And the answer is absolutely.
Right. Well, would you be open to going through each of your scenes in the movie, kind of frame by frame, and stopping and analyzing it a little bit more?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So what we could do, so we could share it. Well, David will share his screen, and we can just kind of go scene by scene. Would you be up for that?
Great, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. So in a way, we thought it'd be a really fun, like visceral thing for you to kind of be like
totally
to yourself.
I love it
from back then. Okay, great. Okay, here we go. There she is. Can we pause it?
Come on.
Okay, so your dress.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not the like it's not anything remotely to the stage production dress.
No.
When did you first see the dress? Did you know it was going to be blue?
I went to the costume fitting. Oh goodness. It was probably like a couple weeks before, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. But this moment, I want you guys to know, like, you have to understand, this is my first moment on a big screen doing a film. Like, this is it right here.
Right.
And I remember this moment. I talk about this moment in my book, but it was just so surreal. Like, all of a sudden, and I had never done any camera training. Like, I didn't take class on camera. And I was like, all right, here we go. Like, it was so insane and amazing. And I just remember the camera, Steve Campanelli, he's like on Clint's team. He's the head cameraman. He's the best. We call him Campy. He like brings the camera up to my face. And I was just like, all right, this is it. And it was this just natural, just this natural transition. A lot of people are like, oh my God, like stage to film is so different. Like, you may not, like, it may be really uncomfortable. And for me, it was so natural because it's such a difference when a camera is here and when you're on a stage of thousands and balconies and mezzanines, right? So for me, it just naturally was more intimate, and I just kind of tailored what I was doing to that. So this was just really exciting. I can like feel it right now. I remember Clint was to my right. He was sitting there directing me, and he was like, he's just the best, the absolute best. And just like joked around all the time. Him and I danced on set.
Oh, wow.
He was just the best. And you want to hear something? Yeah. I have to tell you this. This was pretty amazing. The first day, Sergio Trujillo and I were there. I remember I'd be on break and Sergio would come check on me. Like, it was so fun to share that experience with him. But Clint told his daughter, Francesca, who was one of the waitresses.
Yes.
Francesca told me later that day, she said, you know, my father told me to, if you want to see someone who really acts, someone who's amazing, watch Renee's scenes.
Wow.
And I was like,
there you go.
Oh my God.
Wow, what a compliment.
It was that crazy. I was like, Francesca, are you kidding me?
Wow. Because you're in
yeah.
it. You're in the
So
zone.
you and Clint dance with each other?
Oh yeah. He and I,
Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. My gosh.
move over. He and I would eat lunch together every time I filmed, every single time. And he really became like a mentor to me. I love him dearly. I would just ask him questions questions upon questions. Clint, what does this camera shot mean? Clint, when did you start acting? Clint, what do you think about acting? Clint, why did you get into acting? What about this? What about that? Like I was like a sponge, just absorbing anything and everything that I could from him.
Yeah.
Because I understood. I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like I'm not letting this go by.
Sure. Okay, keep going, please.
Let's get out of here.
Hey, cogliones, I'm listening.
So that line is iconic. Hey,
Cogliones, I'm listening.
was that? Hey, she did it. Was that in the script?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
It's a great shot of you drinking.
Yes.
That's
Oh
awesome,
my
right?
God, that is a beautiful shot. Look at that
Thank you
face.
so much.
Look at that face serving
you.
serving the what's the word? That face that you give in like a headshot. There's like that one. Oh, this not the face.
The smize.
I think it's the smize. I can't remember exactly the word, but whatever it is, you're serving it.
That's the movie.
Thank
star.
you.
Yes. That's why I put the red lipstick on. I never wear red lipstick, but I wanted to try it because that's
yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Great shot.
And it's a wig, right?
No, that's my hair.
That was your hair.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my hair.
Nice.
Okay, friend. Where are you? I'm Mother Goose.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is one of the best things to quote, honestly.
Mary.
Hey, Tamuch. Mr. Subtle, huh?
Hey, you didn't even bat an eye. Frankie, this is Mary Delgado. Mary Delgado, this is Frankie Valley.
Hi.
How are you? All right, slow down, okay? The kid's barely legal.
Since when do you care about legal?
Hey, come here. Listen to me. This is type A, you understand? Type A.
Yeah, I got it.
Because you're hitting money.
Yeah, fine, man.
Have a good time.
You know, that's a nice color for you. You always wear that.
Thanks for the fashion tip.
I feel like, okay, is Mary really type A? I don't know. I don't think so.
You know, I think this is what I know, even like from talking to my mom, because you know that was my mom's time. Oftentimes people would assume, oh, she's like that because she wears a lot of makeup, or she's type A, right? Because she's sexy and sassy, but that's not always the case, right? Like I think Mary, because she's sarcastic, right, and sassy, I think it was easy to assume that that's how she was, but
I think it's Tommy's projection.
Exactly.
Of her.
Tommy, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in my mind, she was not.
Okay.
And thanks for the
Well,
fashion tip.
that's a
and the
huge
whole-
insight.
Yeah, and the whole pizza scene is the indication that she's not type A.
Yes.
This is kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier. How Tommy says it. Mary. They had a few years on each other, but Mary wanted out, up and out. They both wanted out. So like, Frankie was a vehicle for her. Did she love him? Sure. But was that more than what she thought maybe that he was a vehicle for her?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, back in those days, women got married and had kids so much younger. Mm. And that was the timeline, right? You do this, you get married, you have babies, you become a housewife. It was there was like a set thing that you were expected to do. And Mary wanted to follow suit.
Oh, so you're saying she wanted? So we were always under the impression that she wanted to get them both out of the neighborhood and both out of this kind of projected lifestyle onto them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I also believe she wanted that family life. Like Mary was still like a motherly figure, right? She still was maternal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like, even if you talk to, you know, Mary's real granddaughter, Olivia.
Yeah.
I'll never
we did
forget.
talk to her. Yeah.
She came up to me. I'll never forget the New York premiere, and she came out of the theater crying, and she said, "Renee, I thought that was my grandmother up there," and I said, "Olivia, that's the only compliment I ever need, like, because that's your grandmother. Like, you knew her better than anybody." So to hear that was amazing. So she obviously had this maternal instinct, right? I don't think Mary was like, yeah, me and Frankie, we're going to just like get out of the neighborhood and just hang out. Like, I think she did want that family life. She did want the American dream, quote unquote.
Yeah, I agree. Like, because she didn't want to get out, but she still wanted that. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And just to be clear for everyone, just to clarify, so that we're talking about the character Mary Delgado. Of course, we don't know all the nuances of the actual person.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but also on our episode with Olivia Valley, she was giving us all these insights too. But there was even an argument out there that Mary, the real Mary, wanted to have a singing career of her own too, and there was a jealousy and a power play there.
Yes.
As well. So we don't see that in the movie or the show. And we always just kind of like to think about this just a hypothetical, of course. We never want to change the show, but do you think that would add an extra element to the show if it is true and if it was added in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It would be so much more depth.
Yeah, it would be so much more depth, and it also would make sense of everything that they go through.
Right.
Because right now it just looks like Mary drinks, Frankie's always out on the road. Mm-hmm. But why is she upset that he's always out on the road? Yeah, that he's sleeping around, he's cheating on her, but also that he's kind of living the existence that she also dreamt of.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. I think that definitely would be interesting.
Right. And then when you have Frankie saying, I want to have the cake and eat it too, she's like, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
No, that's the hardest part to really grasp with their relationship.
Yeah.
I think because every single song really does like mirror what they're all going through at home, whether they want to deal with it or not. Yeah. So I love dissecting that too, because you always see that.
Yeah. They don't sell slices, that's how you can tell.
Is that is that a Jersey thing?
Is it?
With pizzerias?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's like, it's almost like saying like they don't sell wine by the glass, right? Like, you know,
you got to get a bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, same thing. Okay, cool.
So that's your real name, Valley?
Nah, Castelluccio. Francis Castelluccio.
Kind of long for a marquee.
Oh, can we pause it?
That's why I changed it.
How fun was it working with that cigarette? That was a perfect swivel up there.
So fun. This was crazy because we did this so quickly. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget, you know, you have to understand there's muscle memory from the Broadway stage version.
Oh, yeah.
So we like did it once and I was like, I hope we're going to do that again, because it's like, I needed to like get my flow, because it was that you still have stuff that's you know, that's in your body from the show,
right?
The stage show. So we did it. It was only like 2 times maybe, but I'll never forget. Clint comes up to me at one point in the scene and he goes, "You look like Veronica Lake in this scene."
Oh man!
And I was like,
yes,
maybe a little bit. You know,
I was like,
you do.
Oh my God. And I look at him and like, this is what he would do. And then he just walks around and I go, "So is that okay?" He's like, "Yeah, it's great."
No. Valli.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It doesn't know what it is. Is it a vowel? Is it a consonant?
Never thought about it.
Plus, with your Italian, you gotta end in a vowel.
Right, and so your voice it's very, because the whole movie is very quiet, very deep voice. Was I know you came on just in it, ready to go. Like, did you kind of realize as you were doing all of your scenes that your register was a little bit lower?
I was, yes, totally aware.
Yeah, so you were doing that on purpose?
Yeah, it just it kind of comes out naturally for Mary.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pizza, Valley with an eye. It says this is who I am. You don't like it, you can go fuck yourself.
The best.
That's a very unusual fragrance. Never smelled anything like that before. What do you call it?
So,
Tommy warned me about you.
yeah, what'd he say?
Said I couldn't handle you.
That's because he couldn't. So your group?
The Varietons.
Yeah, just you and Tommy.
And his brother Nick and this other guy, Nicky.
So where were they?
They went away for a while.
What for?
I'm gonna tell you this. This scene was actually a lot longer.
Really?
And in this scene, they cut this. And in the scene, you got to see that Mary was truly the one that helped to shape him.
Ah.
Like the scene went on, I'm trying to remember it, but she's like, she's like, where'd you get that jacket? It looks like it fell off a truck. Yeah, well, I need you to go down to Union. You need to go here, get this jacket and go blah, 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 blah. Then get yourself this. And she like, almost like was like, like coached him, but they cut it.
Wow.
And
Coach.
she coached him, but they cut like half of the scene.
Okay, well, so your iconic line coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
They did some things.
Friends like that, maybe you should just change your name to Sinatra.
Okay, did you know or have the feeling in your gut that that was going to be your trailer line? That was you.
No.
No?
Isn't that crazy?
Okay. Yeah.
No, I had no idea. You like don't know those things. You don't know what they're gonna pick as the trailer. Like I was as shocked as everybody else. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yes, like that was your pure introduction. Like just like, into that. Yeah.
I remember we were in California and my husband, we were freaking out and I had to go teach. I was teaching Zumba. I come back like an hour later. He's still in the same spot on the couch, re-watching it.
Wow.
Like it's like 97 times.
It's true. Well, I will say, whoever cut that trailer did an incredible job.
Oh, they killed it.
Yes.
That trailer, those trailer clips were amazing.
Gonna be as big as Sinatra.
Only if you stand on a chair.
Hey, why you gotta say that kind of
Those
stuff?
eyebrows going in.
Look, first of all, Sinatra wouldn't be caught dead in that jacket. Where'd you get it?
I don't know. Tommy got it off a truck.
Exactly. Tommy's a two-bit hustler. He doesn't see the big picture.
And right here. Yeah, so what do I do? That's when I go, you go down to blah, blah, blah. You get this, you do this, you do that. And she like gives him a list. They cut that. And then she was just like, come here.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I do.
That explains a lot.
Yep.
Come here. You got a nickel?
Yeah.
Call your mother. You're gonna be home late.
And there it is. All right.
Yes.
Pizza scene. Dissected. Renee, you don't understand. I have been dreaming to do this. This is so cool.
Oh, this is awesome.
Thank you. Okay, moving on.
So how long did it take to film this scene?
The wedding scene?
Yeah. I mean, it's just you guys leaving and everything and going into Tommy's monologue. I mean, what's a day of filming that kind of scene like?
It was literally just, I mean, maybe 2 hours. Like it was nothing.
Yeah.
We did honestly more standing around. I remember Clint, John, and I like chatting in the church. And then we do like the walk out. We did that a couple times. And then John and I sat in the car chatting. And that was it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so much work for a 10-second scene.
Oh, yeah. Best job ever.
This is bullshit, Frankie. Most important day of his life and he's late?
It's not like Bobby be late.
Oh, it's Tommy's territory.
All right, Strunza, get off my case. Lay off the booze while you're at it, all right, shithead?
Hey, watch your mouth in my house. Francine, come here, baby.
I would go with your mommy.
With the plastic on the couch.
She wasn't even listening.
Oh, yeah.
That way.
She was drawing pictures. Pretty pictures, Francine.
Leave that. Hey, come on.
Asshole.
Is that
they're
your hair
nice.
too,
They're
Renee?
That was, oh, God, was that a wig? That was a wig.
That was a wig. Okay. Well, pure 60s hair. So that is showing the passing of
Yeah.
time. as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Frankie. Come on, come over here. We're still going. Jump in your car. You'll be here in like 10 minutes. Got a present for you.
You know, Tommy, we just got back from church.
You don't even understand, Frankie. You are missing all the fun.
Oh, I think I got as much fun as I can handle here, right, Tony?
Yeah, his daughter.
Right, yeah.
His daughter.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And
Wow,
this scene
so
also
meta.
hugely cut.
Oh.
This whole scene, he gave me a pink washing machine.
Oh.
Oh, it was a whole thing. And this was the first time he let us improv for about 10 minutes.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was amazing. He just let us go. He just let the camera keep rolling. It was awesome.
Oh, do you remember what, like, the beginning, middle, and end of the scene were?
I don't. It was like, it was, he gave me a pink washing machine. I made some sarcastic comment. And then, yeah, that's all I really remember.
Okay.
But it was definitely way cut down.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, that's awesome.
Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. Mind blown.
Mind, you think the kids don't know what you're
You
doing?
want to switch places anytime. There's the
Okay,
kitchen,
you go
there's
out
the
on the
washing
road. We've
machine.
only fought for
No,
children.
No, thanks. I wouldn't want to cramp your style.
Listen, the road is the road. I'm out there busting my hump to provide for this family. There was certain things that are none of your
Bullshit.
business.
Your family's out there. You think I don't know what goes on? Here. Give it to one of your special friends. Go tour to space for all I care. You'll see what you always were. A dumb wop from Jersey who never even graduated high school. Mr. Valley with a Y. Give me a fucking break.
Pick that up. Pick that up.
Is that she needs to do whatever she can to be above him, to like bring his ego down or to bring her ego up or so, but she's above him on the staircase.
Yep.
And I mean, just that scene is just always so impactful. But
It's pure power play. Yeah. So, of course, you know, she's drunk-ish. You know, she's.
Yep.
It seems like it might even be in the morning. What's something, like, as a communication coach, just empathizing with Mary and with Frankie? Like, what are your thoughts now looking back on this scene?
Yeah, this is a pure example of two people, as I said before, who are speaking over one another. They're not actually listening. They're already set in their perspectives, right? Like Mary knows I'm like done with you. Frankie's like, oh, here we go. I got to go home and hear her mouth. So that's not an honest conversation.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, Mary's already a bit drunk. Frankie's exhausted, right? He's just getting home. So it's so sad because so many people get into this situation right here. This is so real. Like, I think this scene is just so real of arguments and how they could happen, especially in a close relationship. But I'll tell you a quick funny story. Actually, it was one of the most impactful days of my life, but we did this scene once and then Clint goes, all right, now I want you to really give it to him. So I'm like, all right. So we go back and we do it again. I'm like, you show up for a couple of days and you think that makes you a father. Nah! And I forget all my lines. Like, mind goes blank and I just scream. And I pick it back up a few seconds later, finish the scene. Clint yells cut and he goes, that was it. I go, Clint, I forgot my lines. He goes, I don't care. It was real and it was raw and that's good.
Yep.
When I was filming Meryl, and I'm like in my head, oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
He is talking to me about Meryl Streep. He's like, when I filmed Meryl, she was always a perfectionist. She'd do her scenes a million takes until I started filming her rehearsal takes and she saw how raw they were and had me do that all the time. And I was like, my mind is blown right now. And that was the first time that I understood this gift of imperfection. Because think about this. When you're pissed off, whether it's a friend, a loved one, and you're pissed off and you're talking, so you just get so worked out that sometimes you forget what the heck you were going to say, right? That's so real. And when he said that, I was like, oh my God, he's right. When you're in an argument, sometimes you forget what the hell you have to say because your rage and your emotions are running so high that your mind goes blank.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like one of the coolest days for me on set.
What do you have to say to people? Because I've been dealing with this for too long, where I went to hang out with my friend, and she has a lot of things that she needs to go through, and I'm usually the person she confides in, which of course I'm there for her, absolutely. I hung out with her for 8 hours, and she did not ask me how I was doing at all.
That's
it was
tough.
just her all day. Do you have any recommendations like for people just to be more aware of what they're doing in a conversation, or how to bring up the fact like, hey,
by the by,
check yourself. Yeah.
By the by,
exactly.
You didn't ask me how I was. Yes.
Right.
And I actually had a friend like that, and it really, really would bother me so much because I would just be like,
right,
how are you not seeing this? Yeah. Like, right? Like, how I don't understand. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the best way to deal with something like that is to address it, because this is what I say, and I talk about this in the book, but sometimes we have to be a mirror for other people. We have to be what I call a spiritual mirror, especially when we love someone, and you have to hold it up to them so they can see the reflection of their actions, of what they're doing, because oftentimes a person like that is so caught up in their own story, their own world, their own head, that they really aren't thinking about you or your needs or the 8 hours that you've spent with them. So especially being someone that's close to you, I always think like I would want someone to tell me if I'm being rude or like I said something that offended you. I would want you to tell me that.
Well,
and in the same vein, it would be great to be like, hey, so and so, I just want to let you know I love you. And I know you love me, but I just want to bring this up to you because I think it's important for you to recognize, like, I've been here with you for 8 hours and you've not asked me how I'm doing once. Like, this is important for you to recognize, because this could be part of the problem that you're dealing with in your other relationships.
Right.
Are you even recognizing that they're in the room? At the end of the day, no one can fault you for being upfront and honest. And I know for me with my friends, like the people closest to me in my life, I want you to be honest with me. Like, that's like letting someone like walk out in the street with something in their teeth and you don't tell them. It's like, you better tell me.
Well, and I'm so sorry if we mean to be asking you advice and putting our problems on you. Like,
no, I love to help.
That's fine.
I love to help. This is part of what I do, and I love being able to help in this way. This is why I wrote the book, because I'm like, this is, so the subtitle of the book is called Balancing a New School Technology with Old School Simplicity.
Right.
And
perfect.
The main reason I wrote this book is because what I've recognized is society, in a societal sense, we are all so addicted to our phones and our computers and our this and our that we're forgetting about those more old school ways of communicating, having an actual conversation in person, picking up the actual phone to your ear, or being able to bring your real self to a video communication, right? Or writing a handwritten letter. And by letting these ways go to the wayside, we're causing a lot of issues in our relationships, because as we all know, you can't read tone through a text. Emails get lost in the spam folder. And then what? There's miscommunication, you have issues. And instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to pick up the phone and talk to my friend about it, we just keep texting. So that was the main reason for me writing this book, because I noticed this problem happening and a need for people to be able to get back to this like authentic way of communicating, and knowing the right time to use technology in your communication and the right time to put your damn smartphone away and just have a direct conversation.
Love it. And when does it come out?
So it comes out, you guys, this is really exciting. Tomorrow.
Oh my God.
I'm revealing my book cover. So stay
tuned.
But ebook, it will be out October 5th, and in bookstores January 25th, 2022.
Oh, and are you gonna have some book signings?
Oh, yes, of course.
I can go to in person?
Yes.
And tell me something, one other thing, and I remember this to this day, when Valerie Harper came out with her book, I Rhoda. So a few years ago, And, she must have had some time, but I had asked for an autographed copy and I received the copy. And then her representative actually, and I can't remember how it came about, but he actually called me and I spoke to her for a little while. I had seen
Wow.
Tallulah on Broadway, but I don't think she remembered who I was, but it was just very nice. It was a very brief conversation, but it was just very nice to speak to somebody. And yeah, I've gone to a bunch of book signings. Oh, and let me tell you too, on the interviews, I don't know if you're going to do. There is a writer similar to James Patterson, not James Patterson, but I know his name now, and I've gone to several of his not only book signings, but he has sort of a little audience at Barnes and Noble in New York. And I actually have gotten in touch with him. And I won't give away the first name. I'll tell you privately if you like. But I got in touch with him and I said, do you want me to ask a question? What question would you like to ask? Similar to what I did, in the bank conferences. And he did email me back, because you do get a lot with, does anyone have a question? And everybody is hesitant to ask the first one. So anyway, yeah, good. I got to see your book signing. So then we'll get
Yes,
to
I'll
actually
let you
visit
guys
in person.
know. I will let you know once I have all that squared away. Absolutely.
Yes, please do. We'll be there. So
Awesome.
thank you so much for everything that you do, Renee, and for helping people connect on camera and just with each other in general. Because public speaking is the number one fear in the United States at
Yes.
any capacity. So you are helping
Yes.
people really come into themselves, and I just
Thank
appreciate you so much.
I want to make one other comment too, based on this whole session with you, Renee. We
This
talked
session.
a lot, but frankly, you do know how to listen. You let me speak without interrupting me and cutting me off. And that, you ever go to a doctor's office? Usually you go to a doctor and they give you maybe 15 seconds. But thank you for that. You do know how to listen, and you spoke about that earlier in this session. And it was great, Coach. When is my next appointment?
I love you guys. You guys are such great clients. I mean, you're kind of like dream clients. So thank you. This was seriously so much fun for me. And thank you for letting me go down memory lane. Jersey Boys holds such a special place in my heart. You have no idea. I love my Jersey Boys family so much. My Broadway family and my film family. It was just like, honestly, one of the greatest periods of my life, doing the show and doing the film.
And you know something, Renee? I think G and David are, well, you've got a few years in too, if you want, but I've got a few years on you. And for me too, it was totally unexpected and really one of the best 15 years of my life. And it's funny, when I wrote for the blog, my 15 minutes of fame have turned into 15 years of fame. So
Yes.
thank you.
It's true. Well, so Renee, thank you so much. And now we're famous. Just trying to be there. A salute.
A salute.
Everyone go follow Renée Marino official on Instagram. Go to her website, reneemarino.com.
It's a beautiful website, by the way.
Beautiful website.
Thank you so much.
Are you on Facebook as well?
Yes. Coach Renée Marino.
Coach Renée Marino. Check out all that she has to offer. Sign up for her sessions. Sign up for her coachings. She is, as you will have seen, an amazing person, amazing human being, and a salute.
Well said. L'chaim.
Thank you, guys.